Alright guys, welcome back to part 3 of my Dark Souls 3 all-in-one guide. So we're going into the Undead settlement, and we don't have a lot of firebombs. I recommend buying some firebombs. If you have any cash left over, let's go ahead and buy some. I'm going to buy 5. That's going to be a total of 7. It'll come in handy at the beginning of the area. And I'm going to get rid of the short bow and then replace it with the longbow for a few reasons. The longbow has better range, better damage, and it has a better skill. You have skills with these weapons now, weapon arts. And the weapon art for the longbow will give you a super shot. And it will be more useful than the other 2 bows I had considered using, which was the short bow for its lightweight and the black bow of Ferris, which had a triple shot, but the damage was reduced significantly, as well as the rapid shot for the short bow. So the longbow, in my opinion, has the better weapon art, so we're going to go with that for this walkthrough. Now we have quite a bit to do in this video. This is going to be a pretty long video. We have quite a bit to do. We have to start Sigurd's quest. We have to get a couple of Covenant items. We have to kill a boss. We're going to get 5 rings. I did miss one item that I will get in the next video that I realized I had missed it, but it's not necessary for an achievement or anything. It's just a blessed shield, but I will go back and get it in the next video. And I missed a gesture, but you can get it in Firelink and you just have to reset the area, and we'll get that in the next video as well. I'm keeping track of all the stuff, don't worry. So at the beginning here, you want to drop down. We're starting Yule's quest now. This is for the Usurpation of Fire ending, and you have to do all this stuff in order, so we're going to go ahead and get Yule to Firelink, and I'm going to put on these alluring skulls for use later. So it's very important to remember, when Yule is at Firelink, if you kill the Abyss Watchers before doing his part of his quest, where you kill yourself 15 times to get 15 hollowing, then you're screwed for the Usurpation of Fire ending. You cannot do it. So it's very important to do his quest as soon as possible. We're going to do it in the next video, at the beginning of the next video, before we start going any deeper into the game. Now right here, stay off to the left, and I just kind of wait for the dogs to come and pick a victim. There is a chance one will get through the gate like there is one here, but get to the lever as soon as you can because you're invincible in that frame. And I'm not even going to deal with this other guy. I'm just going to deal with the dog. Dogs are the bane of my existence in this game. He won't even let me sit at the bonfire. Now these first Halloween enemies you're going to come across, the undead farmers and peasants, they can be parried pretty easily. This guy in particular has a long wind-up, and it's easy to parry that attack. I don't like the pitchfork guys, though. I just backstab these guys. It's just not worth it. Or just swipe at them. If you're using a bandit knife, it only takes 3 hits. We're going to take a right here, and we're going to get this shield. And I like going this way because you're going to see a recurring theme here. We're going to be trying to ambush the thralls before they can ambush us. So all their ambush points are going to be thwarted because we know where they are. Knock down the reddest bone here, but don't drop down yet. Come around the corner here and get this useless item. The repair powder is 100% useless, at least to my knowledge. I haven't found a use for it. Never have I had a weapon break in this game, and I've played it quite a bit. We're going to get our bow out, and we're going to demonstrate why I want the longbow over the other bows. Now, there's a thrall at this wall right here. He's going to be trying to ambush us. If you use your weapon art for the super shot, you take him out in 1 shot. Otherwise, it'd be like 2 shots. Now, let's go down these stairs and plunge attack this waiting thrall here. These thralls are positioned strategically in this room to ambush you when you go to get this item over here in the corner, this charcoal pine bundle. The one will jump off the wall, and the other 2 will converge on your position at the same time, so then it's 3 versus 1. So that's what the game wants you to do, but we took them all out before they could get to us. Now we're going to get our firebombs out. And we want to use these explosive barrels to our advantage. Make sure to pick up Loretta's bone. Now, I didn't aim it correctly here. I didn't take out the other two. The aim is to take all of them out, but I missed that one. We're going to just parry this guy. Try not to go too close to where that evangelist is, because you don't want to fight her with all these guys still active. Let's just go ahead and start the aggro here. What you want her to do is to do her grab. She just did it, but I was too far away. I'm just going to pelt this one from up far. And if you see her do her blood attack, just wait for it to get closer and then dodge. But the main goal here is to just get behind when she does it right here, to backstab. That's her biggest weakness. And then you can just finish her off. And just finish off the... Well, these guys just wanted to keep praying to whatever they're praying to there. There's a couple more hollows around the area here. Let's just take them out before we loot the area. I mentioned this in my Indiana Jones walkthrough, but if you do a roll into an enemy, in this area anyway, they will be stunned slightly and you can just get around them. And we'll do it later. But right here, there's an ember and there's these hanging bodies. Now this one doesn't hold anything, but the one next to it does. This one right here holds the kukris, which is basically a knife, throwing knife that does bleed. It's a consumable item. Now we're going to get our third Estus shard, Ultimate Estus 3 of 11, right here. And there's another shiny over here. Now from here you have a choice. You can take a variety of paths. There's branching paths here. We're going to take this one over here where this door is. This one right here. Just go ahead and point it. We're going to go there, but first we're going to go ahead and clear out the area of enemies and pick up one more Titanite shard. We're just going to snipe this guy from afar, and there's another one right here that didn't see his friend die, so we're just going to shoot him in the head and then shoot him in the body. There's a Titanite shard up here. We're getting close to getting 6 Titanite shards to get our bandit knife to +3. Now, I like to kill these 2 thralls before going into that door, because what's going to happen is you're going to be below these thralls, and they're just going to come and ambush you. And our goal is to kill all the ambushers so they won't have any fun with us. They're very fast, too, as you can see, once they close the distance on you. I really hate the ones with the Flamberge greatsword. Those are really a pain in the butt, and they're pretty tanky as well. Now we're going to see a new enemy coming up. It's these caged enemies that are extremely weak to thrust damage. So any thrusting weapon you have, and it just so happens that a bow, an arrow is a thrusting weapon, or a crossbow, whatever you got. Just take them out. It only takes 2 shots, even with an upgraded weapon there. Alright, now it's achievement time. The Covenant, Warrior of Sunlight. This will be your 6th achievement. What you want to do is come over here. Well, there's some Estus soup if you want to save on Estus flasks, which I do here. And you'll get the achievement as soon as you pick it up. Now, here's where the thralls would have ambushed you. They would have come down here. We're going to go ahead and take out these caged enemies along the way. And there's a red-eyed hollow at the end of the hall that's particularly tanky. We're just going to pelt him with arrows and make him a pin cushion. As soon as you exit, there's a hidden area off to the right here, which will lead to a soul item. There are 3 areas like this in the areas ahead. One will have an Estus shard, and the other one will be a shortcut to get to a crystal lizard and another item. But here, we want to be a little methodical and take out this guy first, and then this guy. There's an ambush in the door where the whip is down here. Now, what I've managed to do in the past is throw an alluring skull near the door and the other guy would just run out, but it didn't work here. But it did attract the guy with the hammer. He's come out late there, as you can see. But that's the main goal, was to get that guy to come out. It does work sometimes if you throw it correctly, but I didn't, so... You want to stay right here to avoid the blood spill, and we're going to snipe the cheeky thrall that's just waiting for us, and get the whip. There is a Titanite shard over here. Now, there's a couple things you can do. This evangelist is guarding a Titanite shard, and we want it, so I don't recommend go up there to fight her. You can just run past her if you want to, but if you stand here, sometimes she'll aggro down on top of you, or you can snipe her. Sometimes I've sniped her off of the ledge, but I probably should have just tried to do my super shot. It probably would have knocked her off. So here she comes with the butt stomp. But they're weak to bleed, and with our bandit knife, it does great bleed, so... We're going to go get that Titanite shard now. As there's a little dicey here because an NPC is going to invade if you're embered. If you're not embered, you don't have to worry about it. But here, you want to jump over here and get this item. And then get the crystal lizard as fast as you can before Hodrick spawns, because he's going to try to ruin your day. You could go for the bonfire if you want. But here, I just recommend going into the house. I didn't do it here. But then I realized it's better to just stay away from the big guy, because you don't want him interrupting your fight with Hodrick. Now, the thing about Hodrick is, he's not hard. The only thing you need to worry about is him parrying you. And he'll constantly heal himself 3 times with Estus, so you really just want to close in on his position to make sure he cannot heal. And you could use Undead Hunter Charms, but I found a way to do it without doing the Undead Hunter Charms. But whenever he's got his shield down, do not attack him, whatever you do. He will parry you every single time. If he's got a double-handed weapon up, then you can go in for the attack. But you want to pin him in a corner. That's the easiest way to do it, is to pin him in a corner and not let him heal. He's prepping his weapon art here. He'll also cast Warmth, a healing spell, too. He's got hyper armor sometimes. It's just try to power your way through him. Right here, we're just going to go in, and this is what you want. You want to get him pinned where he can't do anything. He's trying to heal, but he can't do it. And you'll get a vertebrae shackle. You can trade one of these to Pickle Pea, and you'll get Lucatil's headgear, the NPC from Dark Souls 2. We're going to get her other gear later in this episode. Or you can save it to get 30 vertebrae shackles you'll need to get the spell Warmth, which is necessary for an achievement, unfortunately, and that is quite the grind. We'll get to that much later, those grinds that we have to do. We're just going to run through the graveyard and loot it. Usually I would say, okay, let's get the giant to befriend us, and then loot the graveyard with no arrows coming your way. But I'm trying to avoid doing a lot of backtracking, so we can loot the entire graveyard with the giant raining arrows upon us. Here is your first Undead Bone Shard, 1 of 10. Ultimate Bonfire, 1 of 10. The main goal here is to just go ahead and get that, and then we're going to get the ashes, mortician ashes. Now here's what I was talking about earlier, where you can roll through and just knock them out of your way. There is an armor set over here, but beware, there is a tough thrall with a flamberge that's going to come down on you. But here's the best way to do it. You just want to get back into this path that you came from before, and see, they're over there where you used to be, so they're going to be trailing behind you. So you can use that time you need to just loot everything. Plus the giant is going to be shooting, so. Now I tried to get the great scythe here, but I failed miserably. And then the giant started hitting me, so I said, okay, we'll get this later. We will get it in this episode. But it's right over there. Just got to make a jump to get it, but I just said, screw it, not worth it right now. Giant is not our friend right now, so. Do not go left, go right. Left is the boss fight. You don't want to go there just yet. If you trigger the boss fight now, before getting the Mound Maker's Covenant achievement, you'll have to wait later to get it, because the tree will fall on top of him, Hodrick, and kill him. And then the cage that you need to get into, the guy will be hostile. That's why the guy was hostile. I couldn't figure it out when I was doing my Indiana Jones walkthrough. The cage that you have to get into, he was hostile towards me one time, and I couldn't figure out why. You don't have to do this. This is just my cheeky way of getting around this dog, because I hate dogs. And I found out that if you just stick to these cages here, you don't have to fight the dog, and you can just walk past him. Like I said in the beginning, I'm going to be playing more of a stealthy character, so I'm going to be trying to avoid a lot of encounters. So that's just one way of avoiding that dog. There's one here you're going to have to kill, though. And we're going to get our next ring coming up. This guy, I couldn't figure out why Hollows can't figure out how to use ladders in this game, but this one certainly can't figure it out. So we'll just pelt him with arrows. There's 3 rats here you want to take out. Now for the Blood Bite ring. This is your 4th ring for the Master of Rings achievement. We're going to get the cestus, then we're going to just kind of aim in this fog here. You can kind of make out the shadow of where the big rat is, and we just want him to aggro. We don't want the other rats to aggro. Just him. He's the one that gives us the ring. Once he's dealt with, we'll get the ring, and then we just got to take out the other ones by themselves. You certainly want to open up this shortcut, though. It will become very useful. Now, we could go to the right, but we are not going to go that way right now. We're going to come in from behind them later. We will loot that area, but just not right now. Right now, we want to go up here. And be careful of this thrall that is just hanging on the mountain somewhere. He's going to climb up here and try to get the jump on you. Don't let him. This guy is a pain in my butt. I don't like these guys that have the pots. They have hyper armor, and they'll power through. It's just, you got to be careful. Just try to take them out as fast as you can. You can't backstab them either because of their stupid plank they got on their back. But here's your next ring coming up, the Fire Clutch ring. I used this quite a bit in my Indiana Jones walkthrough. It will increase your fire damage at the cost of defense. But I'm always playing a particular squishy character. I like playing squishy characters for some reason. I don't know why. I like high damage output and less armor, I guess. I mean, I do that in a lot of games. But here's your shield. You can't open this door from this side. We'll open it later, but there's really no reason now. We've already got to this area, and there's a bonfire here. But first, you want to take these guys out, and we have another Titanite shard to collect. We're getting closer and closer to getting 6 Titanite shards, and we'll be able to get our Bandit Knife to +3. And we've already got 2 large Titanite shards, so we'll be able to get it to +4 immediately, which is, we're not supposed to have a weapon that high damage. That's why we killed the dragon. Well, scared the dragon away. Next, we're going to be getting our Pyromancer merchant available to us. We're going to come up here and free him from his cage. These guys will be throwing firebombs at you from above. But right here, before we free him from his cage, let's go ahead and get this item. This is the Partisan. This is from Dark Souls 1 and 2. Pretty good spear. Now we'll send him to Firelink. Now he does give you a gesture called Welcome. Now I didn't get it in this video, I missed it, but you have to talk to him twice. The first time you talk to him, he will give you the Pyromancy glove, but he won't give you the gesture. And even if you try to talk to him with the talk option, it won't give it to you either. What you have to do is reset the area, and we'll do that in the next video. We're going to go ahead and burn our Undead Bone Shard. We're going to give the ashes to the maiden. I'm just offloading all the stuff I don't need. This is a good way to make sure you don't sell the unique items as well. Because trust me, I have done it. Once you give her the ashes, you'll have access to more items. In particular, the grave cell key, you'll need that to unlock your next NPC merchant for miracles. Now she will sell you charcoal pine resin. I'm going to buy a couple of those. And we're going to give Andre our shard that we got earlier. And we're going to give unfortunate news to Grey Rat about his friend Loretta by giving him the bone. And next time we come to Firelink, he will be grieving, but he will be able to give us a gesture. Now we're going to go get our next gesture from Yule. Make sure to talk to him for your 5th gesture, the beckon gesture. We're going to go ahead and start his quest. I'm going with intelligence for all 5 of my levels because there's a spell I want to use in this build that I'm going to do, and I have to have 15 intelligence to use it. Now we're going to go talk to our new Pyromancy merchant. He will give you the Pyromancy glove, and I'm going to go ahead and buy the first Pyromancy. Now I'm only going to list them on the screen as I buy them. I recommend you buy Flash Sweat now if you're going for all of the spells, because without this spell you can't get the other spells. So we're going to use it later, and it's going to be useful to us in boss fights as well. We're just going to use the rest of our crappy souls here. And like I said before, with boss souls, make sure you get rid of them into the storage. You want to offload them into the storage so that you don't accidentally sell them. And once it happens, unless you have a backup save, you're screwed. So I highly recommend, if there's something you have in your inventory and you don't want to lose it, put it in the storage so you don't accidentally sell it to the handmaiden, because you cannot get it back once you sell it. Now that we have the key, we're going to go get Irina, our miracle merchant. And there's a miracle we definitely want to get from her as soon as possible called Caressing Tears. This is a very important spell that we can use early on, but our faith has to be at 12 to use it, and our faith is only at 8 right now. Well, in my particular build, so I have to get that up a little bit. You want to take a right here to get the underwear. And that statue there is if you want to... It's basically Oswald from Dark Souls 1. If you piss off an NPC, you know, you can resolve it there, but it will cost you souls. And once I pick up this item, I'm just going to run. There's no sense in me fighting these skeletons, and I'm just not particularly in the right mood to fight them, so yeah, you don't have to fight them. But as soon as you exit, take a right. There'll be a crystal lizard here that has a heavy gem, but you don't really need it because you're going to get one from Hawkwood anyway. But there's some Titanite shards here as well. Now you should have enough to upgrade your weapon to +3. Now here's where I missed the item. There is an item called the Blessed Shield that's hanging on that corpse right above my head right there, and I didn't get it. But it is there, and I will get it next episode. Now I use the Alluring Skulls here because I hate rats, and if you just want to get the talisman without any problems, then just use an Alluring Skull, and you can get up the ladder safely without getting your ankles chewed off. Now, Master of Expressions time. We're going to get our next gesture, Prayer, from Arena. You'll have to touch her, and you'll get your 8th out of 26th. Now, for whatever reason, I couldn't get her bodyguard to come to Firelink. Usually he'll be at Firelink with her, but in this case, in my current playthrough, he's not there. So I'm guessing I didn't exhaust all of his dialogue or something. But he's not there currently. But I have to come back here anyway to get the Blessed Shield, so I'll figure it out next episode. But here, unfortunately, to get the Alluring Skull item, you have to go through a gauntlet of enemies. And they're all a pain in the butt. This one in particular. They have the pots and hyper armor. I just try to bleed them out as fast as I can, but they are quite spongy, and you got to kill 3 of them plus the dogs just for some Alluring Skulls. Is it worth it? Probably not, but since I'm trying to get every item in the game, or at least this is an attempt to, I have to grin and bear it, I guess. Try to dodge the pots and just have him pull out his machete or whatever the hell that thing is. It'd be so much easier if you could backstab these guys, but nope. Oh, I thought there were 3. I think one might have fallen down. But here are the dogs around the corner here. I probably should have equipped my fire knife to deal with these dogs, but it's just not upgraded, so your Alluring Skull's all for that trouble. We'll get the item on the bridge, and that will conclude this area. Now, we can go talk to our buddy, Onion Bro, and begin his quest. He can't figure out how to use the lift because it keeps taking him down, but he wants to get to the top of the tower because he knows the giant is up there, and he wants to talk some sense into him. So you have to show him how to use the lift, because once you get on the lift, it's going to take you down, and he's going to realize, hey, it took him down. I got another lift coming from above. So you've inadvertently helped him figure it out. And we do want to go down first because there's a bonfire down here, and you definitely want to sit at it in case something goes wrong. And we're going to kill this annoying enemy down here. Outrider Knights. They have a very weird moveset that's hard to predict. But there's an easy way to cheese them, and we're going to do it here. In fact, this method will work for other enemies as well. And we're going to use it again much later in the game for an NPC that we're going to kill. But go ahead and sit at the bonfire. Reset positions. And stand outside the door and just pelt him with arrows. He can't figure out how to get through the door, so we're just gonna enjoy an easy victory here. And you'll get a sword that causes frost buildup. I've never used it, so I don't even know what it's like, but it's there if you want to use it. It uses Twinkling Titanite to upgrade, though, and that doesn't exactly grow on trees. But now we want to go talk to the giant. So we got to go back up to the top where we were, and we got to send this lift back down again, and then get on the next lift up. By completing the Giant's quest, you'll get the Hawk Ring, which will be useful for our build since I am going to be using bows in this build here. But in order to complete his quest, you have to collect all the young white branches, and after doing that he will die and you'll have to come back and get it off his corpse. But as the way down here, you want to just walk off. Once you hear the from my buddy Onion Bro, exhaust his dialogue. And we're going to aggro the demon over here.
No! Well, it's too late now. I, Sigurd of the Knights of Katarina, fight by your side.
Try to wait for Sigurd to come help you, because you can't take many hits from this guy at this stage. But with his help, you'll get it pretty quickly. I just try to stay behind him and wail on him as much as I can. At first I thought you could hit Sigurd and he would turn on you, but I haven't had that happen yet. I think they were more lenient after Dark Souls 1. Now we're going to get a couple of gestures from a buddy. The first one is Toast, our 6th of 26. Exhaust his dialogue for the first one, and you'll get the Sigbro, which you can trade with Pickle Pea to get another piece of Solaire's armor. Stick with him to get the sleep. That'll be your 7th of 26. Now there's a pale tongue up here. Now, like I said at the beginning when I put up my list of goals, we are not doing Cyrus's quest in this playthrough, in this first playthrough. The reason is we need all the gestures, and you cannot get a particular gesture without offering a pale tongue to Rosaria. And once you do that, you automatically fail Cyrus's quest. So you have to pick your poison. What do you want? I want all the gestures in one playthrough, so I've decided since you have to play the game 3 times, it doesn't matter what you do anyway. So we're going to get all the gestures in this playthrough. And also, by getting that pale tongue, we can begin Leonard's quest as well, and he'll be at Firelink. There's some more of those caged enemies coming up. They like to ambush you as soon as you pick up the item. But we can get the drop on them. You can use Alluring Skulls here for the dogs, but I was just trying to be cheeky and snipe them from distance. Once my bow becomes more powerful, I'll be able to be more of a wrecking force. But right now, I don't have an upgraded bow. So these dogs are not going to go down as easily as I'd like. Now there's even more caged enemies up here. We're going to kill them all so they don't ambush us as well, because as soon as you pick up the human pine resin from the chest, you got it. All of them come down on you. And there's 2 cathedral evangelists up top as well, and we're going to deal with those accordingly. Only one at a time though. You don't want to aggro both at the same time. And if you have a bow or any kind of throwing weapon, maybe throwing daggers will do it too. You can get one to aggro on you without the other one. Try to aim for the head for maximum damage. Now we can just deal with this one accordingly. We're going to backstab her. Be very sneaky from behind. Now we're going to go get another ring. Now this ring is severely nerfed from Dark Souls 2. The Flynn's ring, it was so great in Dark Souls 2, but man has it been nerfed in Dark Souls 3. You have to play a very particular play style to get this to work. And you can only use like 2 weapons if you want to get the maximum damage out of it. One being the Cestus and the Bandit Knife, but I am using the Bandit Knife. I could use it, but I have other things I want to have on my person, which wouldn't make it any good. Next ring is the Chloranthy ring, 7 of 107. I'm going to come down here, get it. I equip it immediately. And here is Lucatel's set. Of course, you're missing the helmet, which you'll get if you trade that vertebrae shackle with Pickle Pea. We're going to go ahead and go back to the shrine now. Or actually, no, we're going to go to a different area. The beginning area, the first bonfire we got to. The reason we're coming this way is we need to get a Covenant achievement. And once you go to the boss, you cannot get it. So, at least from my knowledge. Tried to parry there, I failed miserably. Just going to run through here. Not going to deal with any enemies. Make sure nobody's following you. Gonna be some enemies at the entrance here. We'll take them out. Now our initial goal is to go right, but we're going to go ahead and clear this area out and open the door, even though it's useless now. We've already collected the items from the other side of the door. But this is just to show you. This guy is tanky as hell. These thralls with the flamberge, they will ruin your day. They are particularly tough. But yeah, when you open this gate door, this is where you were before. But there's no need to go in there. We've already looted everything in that area. Now for this next section, there are a lot of thralls sniping at you with blowguns. Now you could snipe them, but I found the easiest way is to just charge them. I'm not going to play with them from a range right now. I don't have a good enough bow, and it just takes too long. We're just going to charge. There's a plank shield over here, and a cryptic message from this guy telling you about the cage that you're going to have to get into. A couple more items on these rooftops. There's some fire bombs over here, and there's some Homer bones on the other side. Now we're going to get our next ring, the Flyer Stone Plate Ring, but we got to make a tricky jump here. Just aim to the left. Don't hit this guy. He's not hostile yet. He was hostile before when I was doing my Indiana Jones because I had already killed the Greatwood. Once you go to the boss, he will become hostile. But the trick is to kind of get behind this thing and push it away from the cliff so you can get the ring. Now we're going to get achievements. Achievement time. Mound Maker's Covenant. Talk to this guy, the guy that invaded you earlier, and you'll get your 7th achievement out of 43, the Mound Maker's Covenant.
Well, this people...
Just answer indeed.
Yes, it's it, but... Beware, human. Come.
Now it's time to go to Firelink. I'm going to prep for the boss. Just check to make sure you don't have anything like Undead Bone Shards or Estus Shards that you haven't given to Andre. Make sure you're fully stocked before going into the fight. Early on, this fight will give you some trouble if you're not ready. Now, Master of Expression 9 of 26, Curl Up. The Grieving Grey Rat will give you this gesture.
Heavens.
Now that we have enough Titanite shards, we can upgrade our Bandit Knife to +3 and then +4 because we have those 2 large Titanite shards that we have as well. So we're going to be ready for the boss as far as DPS is concerned.
Be careful.
And we're going to use charcoal pine resin and charcoal pine bundles because the enemy is weak to fire.
Very well, then taken.
Again, level up before you go to the boss. Do whatever you want. I'm still working towards getting my dex so I can wield the crystal rapier. I'm going to do some endurance and some vigor. Again, all that is up to you guys. Try not to take too much damage going through the graveyard because you want to have all your health for the boss, but this is still the fastest way to get to the boss. You just got to go through the gauntlet of enemies. But the giant will be helping you. But here I kind of got stuck. I wasn't patient enough, and then I ran into all these enemies. Yeah, my Estus is going to be taking a little bit of a hit to even start the fight here. And we wanted to get the Great Scythe. I'll make this jump one time this year. There we go. Not nearly as good as it was in Dark Souls 1, the Great Scythe, but it's still a decent weapon. Now, for the boss, I'm going to throw in some fire bombs, because in the second phase you can throw fire bombs at the hand from a distance if you don't want to get grabbed by the hand. When I did my Indiana Jones walkthrough, I was so incredibly powerful with a Chaos Blade plus 3 that I really didn't have an issue with this boss. It didn't stand a chance, but now it's more on equal footing with me. But this is your 8th achievement, the Curse Rotted Greatwood. Once you kill the boss, you will get this achievement. The enemies will infinitely respawn, but they're more of a nuisance than anything. I'm going to buff with charcoal pine resin, just to get a little more extra damage. And since my dagger is short, I missed the ball here. Once the foregoat gives way, rebuff if you have to. At this point I'm going to be using charcoal and pine bundles. They're much faster to use. Go for the testes again. Then once the hand is visible, go to town on that. Now you have to be careful because that hand grab will take a significant amount of your health bar away from you. I recommend keeping your distance and throwing fire bombs if you have them, or just wait for an opening, because the hand is definitely not what you want to get grabbed by. And they'll do this fall over. There's a way to get to some of their weak points. Yeah, you don't want to get grabbed by that hand, I promise you that. And it will also slap you. It's closing the distance on me here, and I didn't realize it. It was getting closer and closer. It wasn't just hanging back. I nearly die here. Yeah, try not to get pinned here. Blue Tear Stone for the rescue again. Yeah, this is a pretty sloppy fight on my part. But once it's dead, you'll get the transposing kiln, which will allow you to get boss weapons. And we'll need to use some of the souls for rings. We're going to aim to get all the new game rings in this playthrough as well. The only boss that we're going to use a weapon for is the Crystal Sage boss. The rest will be used for rings and spells. Even if we don't have the stats to use them, it's just for the achievements.
Well, speak. Very well, then taken.
I am going to go with Vitality this time because I want to wield a shield coming up, and it's pretty heavy, so I want to be able to roll still. But it's going to give me more souls. It's like having another Silver Covetous ring. I'm going to send Grey Rat to plunder now. Once he comes back, he'll come back with lightning urns, which we can trade with the crows to get another piece of Solare's armor. Now up here is Leonard, as well as our vendor for the boss souls. We give him the transposing kiln. We're not going to get anything right now. Now we want to start Leonard's quest. We're just going to talk to him and he'll give us some cracked red eye orbs. But since we've got a Pale Tongue, if we reset the area, he'll give us the key to the lift on the high wall of Lothric. But right now we can't get it. We have to reset the area, but we'll do that at the beginning of the next episode. We talked to Hawkward here. He'll give us a heavy gem.
If you, I.
Now, Yule will be dealt with in the next episode. We're not going to do it this episode. But we're going to do his quest in the next episode. We're going to kill ourselves 15 times to get our 5 levels. But right now, Arena has a spell we want. And this will be our first miracle. And like I said, we're going to go through all of them. But right now, I don't have the souls to buy everything. But Caressing Tears is the first spell you want to get. Trust me on this one.
Have a pleasant memory.
I didn't have enough money, so I have to pop a few. But yeah, Caressing Tears. What it does is it cures status effects. So poison and toxic, more importantly, because you don't have the toxic plants to heal yourself right now. From the maiden, only sells a few, so you need a way to cure that ailment, as well as poison, because you don't want to keep buying the mosses all the time. But yeah, Caressing Tears, you can use it quite a bit too. Alright guys, that's it. I will see you guys in the next one, Road of Sacrifices.